So Creator Clash right now is in a complete downward spiral. When we check out their website, you will notice that the main event fighters have completely dropped out. Nowhere to be seen. No longer available. Not to mention, one of the people that were pretty vocal with their concerns in the past, Freddy, also dropped out. And then Lena from H3 dropped out. So we got 4 fighters that are now completely missing from this fight, especially one of the most vocal ones. And you know what? Good for him. Good for him. Because if he was the only one that was concerned and realized that there was like a very obvious issue at hand here with how this event was being managed and how little communication there was, then good for him. He made the right choice in leaving this event. Because more information keeps coming out about this, and it's making this event look incredibly fucking bad. Nothing about this event looks good. And I'll show you why. When you actually take a moment to look at the website and go down, you'll see that this event is actually not a charity organization. It is completely a for-profit organization that has a charity organization attached to it. So what this essentially is that this is a front, an entertainment front, that'll then tell you, hey, if you want to also go donate some of your money to cancer, please go and give money to this organization. But as far as we know, and I'm not sure if this has been disclosed or not, none of the ticket sales from Creator Clash actually go towards donating to cancer in any way, right? Like the money isn't split as far as I'm concerned or as far as I know. And as a matter of fact, and this is going to be insane to some of you guys, when you go to the Tiltify fundraiser, you'll notice, let's see how much money was raised by the Creator Clash marketing. By Idubbbz and Anisa Are. You scroll down and you'll see Hassan has donated $210,000, which is incredibly commendable, right? Credit where credit is fucking due. Absolutely. I may dislike Hassan, but credit where credit is due. You go a little bit lower, we see that Idubbbz has donated $15,000. The person who has donated the most amount of money for this event has been none other than Hassan, which is incredibly commendable because very few people have actually been donating to this event, as you can tell here. $238,000, and most of that money comes directly from Hassan. Unbelievable. Now, the reason why this is important, as you'll come to find out, keep all of this in mind, because when we watch this video, you'll start getting like a completely different look on this event.
Creator Clash 3 is moving dates and locations. October 25th, 2025 is the new date for Creator Clash, and now it is taking place at the Hollywood Palladium here in Los Angeles, California. Well, thank you. Well, we don't have hype men, so I guess that's... with that comes a couple questions about ticket sales. A lot of people bought tickets for the Amelie Arena show. All those will be refunded. We will be updating you on when the new tickets will be on sale. If you bought pay-per-view...
Which is good. All of these will be refunded. Everything will be automatically refunded. I mean, they have to. They literally have to, which begs the question, why did they relocate from Florida to California?
Tickets, those still stand, but if for whatever reason you would like a refund, they're offering that as well.
I'm excited to have it here too. There's so many people on like this side of the country who haven't been able to make it, who now can make it. And also, we're hosting it now.
We are hosting it now.
See, that's what they say as well, and to be clear, I can somewhat believe that. There's probably a lot of creators that they're inviting out that do live in California, or do live closer to the west side, so now their flights will be significantly cheaper. It'll be easier for all of them to congregate in California and participate in this event.
Yeah. Alana and I will be hosting the pre-show.
Yes.
We'll have some goofs and some gaffes.
It's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. But yeah, today we just wanted to make a video to clear up some questions that people have. You know, it's been kind of rocky communication-wise the last couple of months, and so we just wanted to sit here and...
Which we already knew, right? Because as far as we're concerned, based on the stuff that Freddie Wong said, there was hardly any communication between the event managers, Idubbbz, and the fighters.
Clear a bunch of things
Which is incredibly sketchy.
So let's get to it.
Sure. Yeah, so one thing
it shows that, this shows that these individuals, right, whether it be Anissa, whether it be Idubbbz, who else, whatever, the people that were involved in the background, for the longest time they were attempting to run this event, but were hardly doing anything to actually, like, maintain it and keep it afloat.
I misunderstood until talking to you guys at Real Good Touring was I thought that Ian and Anisa had like stepped back, but I thought that meant they were still involved. They've actually stepped down.
So yes, Ian and Anisa have stepped down completely. There's no creative involvement, there's no financial involvement, there's no ownership involvement. They completely gave their stake to us, including their financial stake. They actually dispersed among the fighters, which is very cool of them.
Now keep a note of this. Their financial stake, they actually dispersed among the fighters.
Do
Through your questions and Aaron,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously you have to
You can
acknowledge
yell at me now.
we have to acknowledge that they, set the foundation for this event.
Yes.
It like started out with like such a positive mission statement. That's why I wanted to be involved in the first place. Like it is like such a cool idea. A bunch of creators getting fit,
Yeah.
punching each other in the face, and it's for charity. Like I feel like it just the message is so inherently positive that it's a shame that it became this dramatic internet thing that it never should have been. And I'm just very glad that
Yeah, but whose fault is that? Like, you have to understand, whose fault is that? This is all Idubbbz's fault. Because even to this day, he continues to act as this like morally superior, holier-than-thou individual. And he tries to brush off that criticism by saying that he belongs in the mud with Ethan Klein, throwing mud back and forth to each other, getting involved in drama. Yet, they're always out here flaunting the fact that they created an event that was like successful the first time around, which don't get me wrong. An event like that is always going to be semi-successful the first time around, especially when you have so many people supporting you. Because at the time, Idubbbz wasn't completely disliked. He was still somewhat of an appreciable, individual on the YouTube landscape. Of course, people were going to be hyped for a boxing event that Idubbbz has been talking about for literally years, right? There's going to be a lot of hype the first time around. The second time around, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, right? Whenever this is also like, you also see this in movies, you see this in various events. Typically, the sequel of something never performs as well as the first one. And to be clear, that is a take that I heard Sleepy say, so I'm going to give him a little bit of credit for that as well. But I do heavily agree with that idea.
attempts being made to fix all that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest questions that people have is about how the event was run in the past and what is going to be different about it now, because obviously the first year was crazy successful. There was over $1.3 million raised, and so that was incredible. Second year, we upped the stakes, we made it a little bigger, and unfortunately it did not pan out.
They upped the stakes, made it a little bigger, did not pan out, but why didn't it pan out? Almost as if Idubbbz at the time also had a little bit of negative PR. The reason why that didn't work is because you guys overinvested without doing any marketing, without doing like any hype. And when drama came around, and again, I'm going to sort of like, skinwalk Shaleepy in this take, they didn't capitalize on the drama that was actually associated with the fight. And they canned Froggy Fresh, for those of you guys who remember that. And the issue with that is that when it comes to combat sports, drama is what sells the event. When you have issues when you have like issues between each other, when you like when there are actually stakes at hand, right? Where you have to like prove these personal vendettas, when you have to like actually, get in the ring and duke out these like, arguments that you guys had. That's actually what sells fights. And again, I'm just cramping Shaleepy's talking points right now, but I do agree. Like, these individuals want to be so disconnected from drama. But that's because they don't know how to capitalize on the drama. They don't know how to turn that drama into something marketable. Like, oh my god, this Froggy guy is taking shots at Anisa. The fact that they didn't capitalize off that, and that they're like sort of projecting that they don't want to be involved with drama, is completely pointless, because that's what drives like, fight sales. When the stakes are high, when tensions are high, when somebody actually wants to like see these individuals duke it out in the ring, get all of this heat off their shoulders, to get that chip off their shoulders, that's what they really want to see. And again, I'm just like stealing that talking point from somebody else. But he's not. But Shaleepy isn't wrong when he said that at all. He's not wrong when he said that at all. But these individuals don't know that. They want to be like, super friendly, super nice, super niche, all of these things, which just doesn't work in combat sports, because that's not what, combat sports appeals to.
In the way that we wanted, and there was no money raised for charity, which was so heartbreaking, like especially like fighting in it, putting all of that time and energy into doing this thing. And like, I know for a lot of us, especially you, Alana, you are always doing charity stuff, and to put yourself in the ring to fight, a big reason that we did it was because it was like, okay, it's for a good cause, it's for charity, and then when you go and do it and no money is raised for charity, that sucks.
Yeah, I've been pretty candid with you about this, Aaron, about like how disappointed I was and how like burnt I felt by it. And I was talking to a separate fighter who's not in the room about this just yesterday. It was like, you work so hard. I had a family member who was in the hospital with cancer at the time, and the thing that like kept me going, that stopped me from quitting and just going to be with them, was I was like, this is for charity. You're raising money for charity. You're raising money for a good cause. You got to keep going. And it was so hard. And then when I found out that we didn't, I think I cried. Like, I was so disappointed that it was.
When we found out that we didn't raise any money for charity, I think I cried. But I wonder why. Like, I would like more transparency. I would like to know where exactly this money went, or what they did and didn't do that led to this, that led to none of this money actually going into charity at all.
Very difficult to like take away positive feelings from the event.
And as a matter of fact, unironically, so like the only way for an event like this to be saved is for them to recruit fighters that actually have, based on what Shalipi said yesterday. Again, I was watching a stream. He made some really, really good points. One of the best things that they could do for this fight is, unironically, get Sam Hyde as one of the fighters, or get Hassan as one of the fighters, and pit them against somebody that they absolutely despise. That would be the only way. Like, for example, if we could get Hassan and somebody else that's like a political, I want to say, like the political antithetical to Hassan, right? Like his polar opposite. So that there's some drama, so that there's some beef, so that there's like actual stakes at hand. That's what would make this fight. That's what would make this fight incredibly appealing. Who wouldn't want to see Hassan get beat the fuck up by somebody like Sam Hyde? Who wouldn't want to see somebody like Sam Hyde get beat up by, like, even Ian, for example? Like, what if Ian and Sam Hyde both fought? What if Ian went through months and months of training, gaining weight, and Sam Hyde went through months and months of training, cutting weight, for them to meet up in the ring and finally duke it out? Do you know how much money that would make? Unironically, let's say, for example, Hassan couldn't participate in a fight like this. You know how much money we'd see from Sam Hyde fighting with Idubbbz? Of course, Idubbbz would never do that because Idubbbz is too much of a coward to like get his ass beat by Sam Hyde. But that would have actually brought in numbers. That would have actually brought in money.
Because I was just so crushed by that news. And so, like, when really turned...
They could have made this into YouTube's version of WWE, but the thing is that the way that they're trying to market combat sports doesn't work. Nobody wants to see a fight under like the idea that everything is for a good cause, that everything is friendly, that everything is like, you know, sunshines and rainbows. People want to see each other go out for fucking blood, right? They want to see people hate each other. They want to see people actually, like, you know, tear into each other's eyes. They want to see people pull out teeth. But they don't know that. They don't understand that. They're trying to be soft about it, but that's just not what really inspires fights. That's not really what gets people motivated to watch a fight.
Called and asked if I wanted to host the pre-show again. That was my first question, is how can you guarantee to me that that is not going to happen again? So what are the changes?
Yeah, and you know, likewise, like, we were devastated as a fighter and as a producer of the event. It was awful that happened, and the audience too. Like, to know that, like, buying into the event and watching the event, thinking that their money's going to charity, and then it didn't turn out that way. The first two creator clashes, they ran.
And by the way, to be clear, is that even the stake? Is that even, like, you know, is that even what's going to happen this time around? All of these people disappointed that none of their money went to charity. But is that what's going on this time around? Because as far as we're concerned, and as far as I can tell, these tickets aren't going to charity. It's a for-profit organization that has a fundraiser attached to it. But as far as I know, the ticket sales aren't going to actually go to charity. So, like, what's the point in saying that then?
We moved on to Creator Clash 2, scaled it up a bit, and it turned out that we weren't able to make that money back and to reach those goals, which again was.
They definitely overspent. They definitely overspent. They couldn't make the money back. Okay, so I guess we get a little bit of an answer here for what happened with Creator Clash 2, besides just speculation.
Very devastating.
They definitely
So going
overspent.
into Creator Clash 3, we've completely restructured it. So all of the onus is on us to pay for the event, to produce the event through our partners, through our sponsors, and we will be doing a traditional fundraising through Tiltify. It's running right now. You can donate it to it right now. We've already raised $238,000, which is so awesome.
We already raised $238,000. We? Who the fuck is we? Because again, if we go to the fundraiser, it's hardly we. The highest donator is Hassan. The second highest donator is Idubbbz through their own fundraisers, right? Through their own fundraisers. But there hasn't been too many we that has donated, you know, the vast majority of $200,000. If anything, what you could say is we donated around $30,000 because Hassan was the one to donate $210,000 or $28,000, whatever. Point being is, you don't get to take credit to say we. This is obviously one of those double speak tactics where they're trying to be as, like, I want to say, they want to make this seem as if they're responsible for all of the good stuff that's going to come out of this anyways, but that's not the case. You can only credit that to Hassan in this case.
That's gravy. That's going straight to charity. So every dollar that is raised for charity through this event will be going straight to charity. The event will be funded by ticket sales. It will be funded by pay-per-view sales, and the fighters will be receiving a cut of that revenue.
Yeah, it's basically two separate things now, right? There's the event pot, which is handled a very traditional event way, and then the charity is totally separate. So like even if you don't like watching boxing, you can still donate to the charity. It's up until the fight already. People can get involved immediately.
And it's very transparent of like, okay, you can see the number right now on your screen of how much money we have raised so far. Every cent of this is going to an amazing cause, which is awesome.
I'm glad that you feel that way.
Yeah, it might be very transparent, but do any of the ticket sales actually go into any of like the fundraising? Does any revenue from this event go to charity at all? Because at this point, given all the negative PR, and given that very few people will probably end up buying tickets because they know that this event is completely crashing and burning, right? Who's going to like rebuy tickets to go watch Creator Clash in California? Who's going to do that? Who's going to rebuy pay-per-view sales if they only have a couple of months to find replacement fighters? Who's going to do any of that?
We do too, and there's going to be a lot of other really cool things around the event. We're encouraging the fighters to do their own campaigns, before and after the event. All these efforts are not going to be wasted. We are going to be raising a ton of money for charity. Our goal is $1 million this year. I really think that that's possible to do.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get that. I don't think they're going to get that. And if they do, it's not going to be a result of Creator Clash. It's going to be a result of Ego Raptor coordinating with a bunch of other creators to start marketing campaigns or donation campaigns within their own platforms and utilizing their own audiences. But I don't think that's going to be a result of Creator Clash. It's going to be a result of him and his company and the reach that he has. And at that point, when they do reach $1 million, then he could take credit for coordinating all of this. But that's as far as he can go. But right now, taking credit for $238,000 is Hassan's donation is insane to me. So Smaggle posted this. Ian, just for clarification, was 34% profit share something that happened during CC1 and CC2, or was this going to be a new thing for CC3? In my opinion, before I take a look at this, I think the 34 profit thing was more than likely just a CC3 thing. But I would like Ian to have more transparency. If we take a look at the transparency, do the fighters get paid? Yes, each fighter receives a guaranteed purse to help cover training and preparation expenses. In addition, 20% of net profits from the event will be evenly split among all fighters, which is good. If they make a good enough amount of sales, then they can get a good salary for this. A further 34% profit share, originally allocated to Ian and Anisa, is also being redistributed among the fighters following their departure. Now, for those of you who recall, Ian or at least Anisa made a tweet saying, "We set this up in a way where it won't harm us." Could they be talking about that 34% of the profits from Creator Clash were going to be towards themselves, when that 34% could be utilized for Creator Clash? 34%, that is 1/3 of the pie. That is an insanely high number. That is an insanely high number. So what does this actually mean? Does this mean 46% of the revenue made was going to be given to charity? What does that mean exactly? If this was the plan prior, and now they're redistributing 34% share, then does that mean that they did have plans to distribute at least 46 of the revenue between charity, or was it going to be a smaller sum, like maybe 10%, maybe 20%, and the owners of the event kept the event managers such as Ego Raptor kept 20% of it? Who knows what the numbers are? It's really difficult. Not all fighters will be available for the new date. An updated fight card will be announced in July that will also include some fresh faces. What's happening with fundraising and charity? Fundraising efforts will continue and expand in the lead up to the new event date. All funds raised so far are secure and unaffected. But yes, those are funds raised. This does not include ticket sales as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know. The Creator Clash 3 broadcast will once again be run as a charity stream, with Stand Up to Cancer. Funds raised remaining our exclusive beneficiary. Funds raised through Creator Clash Tiltify campaign go directly to the charity. All donations and design fundraising proceeds go to SU2C, and designated fundraising proceeds go to SU2C. While Creator Clash is a traditionally promoted for-profit event, the financial success of the event does not impact the amount raised for charity. Interesting. The financial success of the event does not impact the amount raised for charity. I'm not sure if they're trying to word this in a way where they can be like, oh, if this fails, charity still gets revenue. Because if they are trying to word it that way, it doesn't matter because it still goes both ways. If the financial success doesn't affect the amount raised for charity, that means that if the financial success is higher than what's expected, then by these words, none of that will affect what was raised for charity, because none of that money will actually be going towards charity. So this entire thing is a for-profit organization that was stood up to be a charity foundation. Or at least that's the way that they portrayed it to be. That was like the front that they're using, which is incredibly disgusting to me. It is incredibly disgusting to me. This structure, separating charitable fundraising from business operations, is new to this year and was put in place after the setbacks and confusion that followed last year's event. It's part of our commitment to rebuild trust and keep our charitable mission clear, transparent, and protected. Which I would assume is what Anisa was referring to when she said that we set it up in a way where we will be financially safe. As in to say that no matter which way this goes, Idubbbz and Anisa won't have to like actually lose any money. They only like stand to gain. They only stand to gain a certain amount. Right? They wouldn't have to like actually pull anything out of their own pockets. Ian and Anisa have stepped away from Creator Clash in every capacity as stakeholders, event managers, and creatives to give the event space to grow under new leadership, which is a good thing. Assuming that the new leadership is more transparent and more clean. They chose to step down to allow CC to separate itself from the ongoing controversy, which, at this point, I might actually be wondering if this is a good idea or not, because they could have used the controversy to market this event. They could have used this controversy to essentially get new fighters, get new stakes, get new beef, let that beef manifest online through, like, I don't know, internet drama, and use that to entice ticket sales to see if people are willing to like throw hands off of drama alone. Who knows? Allowing us to work towards rebuilding trust and refocusing on what the event was always meant to be. Something that supports creators, entertains fans, and raises money for a good cause. All other partners remain the same. But regardless, it appears that this event was completely misleading from the very beginning. And I'm pretty sure that might have just been Ian's and Anisa's motives from like the get, which makes a lot of sense. Because Ian's response to all of this wasn't really that great either. And this was before like people started, pointing all of this out to his face. I wanted to clear some things up now that Anisa and I are no longer part of Creator Clash. When I announced CC3 and its new business model, the communication wasn't clear. Looking back on my video into the current reaction, it's obvious it was too vague. Yeah, no fucking shit. It remains true that I earned a fight purse for CCC1, along with the other fighters, and we did not profit at all from CC2. After CC2 failed to raise any money for charity, we knew it was time for a different business model. We restructured that the funds for our charity partner would be raised on Tiltify, separate and a part of the actual event. Interesting. We then decided this year we should take a profit share from the for-profit side of the event. Should the for-profit side of the event succeed? Should the for-profit side of the event succeed? I feel sorry for any confusion Anisa and I caused. We know the event is in good hands now, and wish it all the success. But the thing is, and I'm going to be charitable to Idubbbz because I haven't seen anybody be charitable. Were they going to take a profit for themselves to like help their pockets, to help their bank, and benefit their own wealth, or were they going to take a profit side so that they can then redistribute their own profits to charity? So that if like barely any money was raised, they could be the ones to at least give them a little bit of money. Who knows what their intentions with that were? Maybe they were good intentions, maybe they were bad intentions. Who knows? But it's extremely questionable nonetheless. And it's incredibly difficult to take anybody's word at face value either if he were to like clarify why he made that decision in the first place. Ethan reacts to Idubbbz's statement clarifying how the profit was shared in previous Creator Clashes. My. Look at the scumbag scuttle. It's always been a ruse to make money. They lied to us. They lied to you. This event was always meant to line their pockets. They're really trying to line their pockets with charity money from kids with cancer. You can't make this up, folks. Again, I don't know if H3H3 is being bad faith or if he has a little bit more insight into what Idubbbz's goals were. I don't think so, given the fact that he's claiming that they lied to him, but that's probably not entirely the case. Again, maybe Idubbbz had different motives. than what people are assuming. But it's been getting pretty hot and heavy between Ethan, Idubbbz, and Anisa. And Anisa also had this to say, which is just incredibly pathetic. I wonder when Ethan will figure out that he's partnered up with the same people who have been up my ass for the past 7 years. And if he is, why would he care? Because Anisa deserves all the criticism and all of the hate that she gets. If there's anyone he can't affect with harassment, it's me. It's just another Tuesday in Yoko Ono's world, bub. You posting Euphoria memes won't change the fact that I'm eating good food, living life, petting dogs, and laughing at you, yelling about my sex life. You can't even get a good night's sleep judging by those eye bags. This chick is projecting so fucking hard. She's trying to make it seem as if her life is so good so she doesn't have to be affected. Like, look at me, guys. My life is so good. Your words mean nothing to me because I actually get a good night's sleep. I actually eat good food. I live a good life. Like, she's literally bragging. These are the type of persons, like, these are the type of people that preach humility, that preach therapy, that like, preach respect. Yet they're going out here, projecting their insecurities in a form of a brag. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. Like, what's the point of this? What is the point of this? If this is what they meant by they want to roll around in the mud and talk shit to Ethan Klein and Content Deputy, this is an absolutely pathetic display. And it is my deepest hope, it is my deepest wish that these individuals never get to see success ever again.